a musical version of Charles Dickens' story of a miserly Spirited. A musical version of Charles Dickens' story of a miserly misanthrope who is taken on a magical journey. And I gotta tell you, between Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, this is a recipe for a really great time. And fortunately, this movie lives up to that standard. So if I've got to describe my experience with this movie in a sentence or phrase, I would say that I really adored Spirited, and now it is going to be on my list of films to watch each and every year for Christmas, and it brings us a new holiday tradition that you'll laugh a lot with. I'm just so enamored of the fact I have found a new holiday tradition. So let me get into what I really enjoyed about Spirited. The movie's experience is on the whole just extremely pleasant. Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell really lean into their shtick throughout this movie, and if you're looking for that, you're going to be pleasantly surprised because they provide that in spades, and they really add to the pleasantries of the movie. They're really lighthearted, they're really funny, they are just in their bag in this movie, and they really compound on that throughout the entire runtime. And they do so without ever really going over the top or being too obnoxious to the point where they feel like they're trying too hard. It all feels genuine, it feels really in the right place, and it really makes the entire runtime feel special. Yeah, special's the right word for it. Or maybe spirited is the right word for it. Like, there's never really a time in this movie where I thought to myself, I'm not having fun. Like, this movie is just consistently fun. Whether it being watching actually these surprisingly entertaining musical numbers, or you're seeing Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell banter between each other, or whether you're seeing these jokes play out on screen, they're just always fun to be had. And if you're looking to get into the Christmas spirit, this is the ideal movie for that because it is just so wholesome. I gotta give Apple TV Plus a lot of credit. They're putting out a lot of great content, and Spirited is definitely now added to that list. And additionally, I really enjoyed the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell is, of course, no stranger to Christmas films, and I'm not sure if Ryan Reynolds is or not. However, both of them really compound on each other's talents exceptionally, and I think they work really well together throughout this film. Will Ferrell's trying to just kind of guide this misguided soul, and you can tell he's getting a little bit of exasperation in throughout the process, and that banter just becomes really funny and really interesting. As you can see their characters kind of grow and develop, you just see the twinkle in their eyes for each other throughout the film. It just makes the experience a lot more believable. Like, I can't really picture anybody else except for Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds playing the roles in which they did. And let's not forget the supporting cast either. Octavia Spencer and Patrick Page, I thought, did exceptionally well in this movie too. Octavia Spencer plays more so the love interest of Will Ferrell's character, and I think she really wields that quite interestingly. And the movie does kind of go on to an interesting path with her character. It explores some of the deeper meanings behind it and adds another layer to the movie that I really appreciated. Patrick Page's character is a little less interesting in that regard, except I think he adds a little bit more comic relief to the overall story, which I really appreciated, with especially a couple of the musical numbers. Which, let me shift into the musical numbers of this movie. I think this film strikes a really great balance between the musical numbers and the actual dialogue that's going on between actors. By definition, this movie is a quote-unquote musical, but it's not to the point where you're having musical number like every 5 minutes or anything like that. It might be like once every other or maybe every third scene, which I think is perfect for this movie. When I go to see a movie, I can't really stand it when actors are singing dialogue constantly, but that's not the case here. Do I think that the musical numbers necessarily add to the narrative of the movie? Not always, but they're done really well and they're extremely entertaining. And I think they're pretty creative in some of the ideas that they do convey, or some of the tropes or the funny jokes that they go after. I think they more so serve as fuel for the comedic banter throughout the movie, and I think it serves that purpose quite well, even if it doesn't really contribute to the narrative at hand, which, again, adding to that really pleasant experience that you'll feel throughout this movie. And I'll just throw this in as a little aside. Tracy Morgan voices one of the characters. I thought he was pretty funny in the movie. I really enjoyed his presence. I haven't seen him in a movie in a long time. I guess my disclaimer should be that you technically don't see him, you hear him. Now, what did I not enjoy so much about Spirited? Honestly, I think the weakest point of the movie was its awkward pacing. It's not that the movie ever necessarily feels slow. However, you get this impression that the movie is wrapping up at about the second, third mark, but it just kind of keeps going for another 40 minutes. You're thinking that it can reach its logical conclusion, but then it turns out it's got a lot more to say, and I just found that to be a little, not annoying, but jarring. You're kind of like, all right, the movie's about to wrap up, and then it just kind of keeps going and going and going, and it's like, oh, I guess they've got more to tell us. And fortunately, that more to tell us actually does prove to be pretty interesting and really hammers home some of the themes and ideas that the movie's trying to go for. It's just, I think they could have framed it a little bit better. It's a nitpick, but that's just how I felt. And additionally, I thought the movie could have capitalized on its most pivotal moments a little bit better at it. There's one scene in particular I can think of that comes to mind where one of these characters has this just shock and awe moment, this come to Jesus moment, for lack of a better term, and the movie just really quickly glosses over. I'm like, wait, let us bask in this for a little while. This is a huge milestone. And I think the movie falls prey to that a couple of times. It becomes victim to its own ambition, and it really misses some potential in that regard. However, it does really hit on some of these other moments throughout the rest of the runtime, which you can forgive the movie for that. It's just, it could have been even stronger if it would have capitalized on some of these moments I'm describing a little bit better. So friends, in the end, I'm gonna have to give Spirited an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a great watch, and now I found a new Christmas tradition. If you want to feel pleasant and happy, go watch this movie on Apple TV Plus right now. Go see it in the theater. Whatever you do, go watch it. You're gonna laugh a lot, and you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. Friends, thank you so much for watching another movie review. If you thought this was helpful or valuable, I'd be honored if you consider clicking the like button, clicking these end cards up above, or the links down in the description below for your viewing pleasure. Once again, I've been Bryce, and until next time, have a great day.